Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Tiffany and today we are going to be making two different types of cookies out of this cookbook right here, 100 cookies. I did make the brown butter chocolate chip cookies out of this same book, and that was last week's video. Thank you all so much for watching that, by the way. So the reason we are making two different cookies today is because I signed up for a craft show on February 7th. I actually haven't been approved yet, but I'm expecting I will be. So I need to make all of my cookies to at least test them, make sure I actually like them, and I am happy with the process and the product. So if you remember, with the brown butter chocolate chip cookies, I showed two different sizes, that one the book said, and then the other one was the size that I like and I'm going to sell them for. So I need to figure out how much cookie dough I need, how many cookies I'm getting, what is my likely profit going to be per batch, and all of that stuff. I do have the price cost for each of my batches that I will be making today. I will include that in the description. I think that covers everything. Let's go ahead and get mixing. Okay, of course, as soon as I start this, the sun comes out. It's been cloudy all day and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a perfect day to record. Nope, so I'm sorry about the lighting once again on a cookie video. So I did go ahead and get some of the ingredients out. If you are curious, my husband and I do buy in bulk from Costco, and so I just like to prepare all of the ingredients rather than bringing a 25-pound bag of flour over. I just grab it from over there where we have our ingredients rack for our business. So the very first step is to mix in baking powder with our flour right here. I did measure out 116 grams. So I always love when it's in grams rather than in cups, because you never know. We need three of these. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we are just going to whisk this together and then we will set it aside. And then I did read ahead that we need the stand mixer. And so I went and I grabbed it out. Look at me being efficient. Okay, that is whisked together. I'm gonna set it aside. Next, we need to mix in we need to beat our eggs, sugar, and salt. So I'm gonna get our salt into our sugar. And I am doing heaping teaspoons. I just feel like I like a little extra salt. Who doesn't? So I'm gonna dump this mixture in. This is very difficult. This bowl is like just a tad too big. Okay. And then we have 3 eggs. I will crack into this egg bowl just to make sure we don't get any shells. Okay, now we are gonna let this beat on medium to high speed for 6 to 8 minutes until the mixture is about doubled in size and pale. Now on a low speed, we are going to mix in our canola oil and our vanilla, which I've already pre-portioned right here. Now we need to mix and melt our butter and chocolate chips. We are making brownie cookies. I don't know if I said that. I'm a terrible YouTuber. And I have learned from experience, we need to move the butter and we need to do it on a low heat. I'm gonna wait until the butter is mostly melted before we add in the chocolate chips. Okay, we're over halfway melted. I'm gonna add in the chocolate chips now. And we are going to constantly stir this so the chocolate doesn't burn and we don't brown the butter. You could also do this in a microwave. I do not have a microwave, so we always do over the pan. But the recipe actually does call for a saucepan as well. This is like a really nice fudgy consistency. I know there are some people that actually make fudge with just butter and chocolate. I prefer to do a caramel-based fudge. But, you know, if you like it this way too, I'm sure it tastes just as good. All right, back over to our mixer. We are adding the warm mixture to the egg mixture on a low speed. I'm gonna add it in and then I will turn on the mixer. I am just gonna scrape off the paddle and scrape the edges, and then once this is all combined, which I feel like it almost is, we will add in the flour. I just reread the recipe and we are missing the Dutch processed cocoa powder. This I found on Amazon if you are looking for a larger size with a better value. I did not add it in, and that is because I didn't pre-read the recipe, so always pre-read your recipes. And we need to add in 1/4 cup of this. We should have added it to our butter and our chocolate and then whisked it until it was completely combined, but we will just add it here. All right, I'm gonna just scrape the edges. I see some cocoa powder and some flour still on the edges, so we're just gonna scrape them down and continue mixing for about another 30 seconds. I think that is looking good and delicious. Let me show you guys without making a huge mess. All right, here's our brownie cookie mixture. It is looking fantastic. We need to let it sit on the counter now for about 5 minutes, and then we will portion it into our cookies. It looks a lot thinner than the brown butter cookies, but that could just be the recipe. I'm kind of concerned on how we're gonna get the right size cookies that I'm looking for out of this, but we will try. This has been sitting for about 10 or 15 minutes and it is definitely thickened up. However, I'm still not sure if I can actually like work with it with my hands. And I would like to only get 12 cookies out of this. They need to be pretty big size cookies. And then there was also a variation I saw in the book that says you can add a little bit of peanut butter to the top and then swirl it in with a knife, and then it just adds a lot of peanut butter and color to the cookie. I think I am gonna test a couple with and without peanut butter just to determine if I like it or not. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this going. I'm gonna touch more on the peanut butter thing in a little while. Once I get these cookies all done on here. I am going to be using a tablespoon and a teaspoon. I'm gonna scrape. And I would like to get 2 or 3 heaping tablespoons per cookie, so that they are hopefully around 3 ounces and they spread to be about 4 inches wide. You know what? Actually, this one is looking pretty good. That's a pretty good size cookie, I think. Let's do one that size. We could actually do another one about that size right here. Trying to make them like as rounded as possible, so they won't come out all goofy shapes. This one I'm gonna make a little bit bigger. I'm only gonna put 4 on this tray, I am realizing. Basically just bad placement, but also I need to test to see how many cookies we can get out of this batch, and I need to figure out how big they need to be. So this one is gonna be 1.5. You know what? That's a terrible idea. I don't want underbaked cookies. So this sheet of 4 is going to be the 1 heaping. You know, sometimes you think you have a great idea and then you think about it again and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm glad I didn't do that. I do that in chess a lot. Anyone else play chess? And now, since these are bigger than what the recipe calls for, the recipe says bake 8 to 12 minutes. I think I'm gonna put them in, actually, no, we need to add the peanut butter to 2 of them. So I'm gonna add this to these 2. And I'm just doing about half a teaspoon size. Do it to these 2. And we'll just kind of do this so that it doesn't melt, but I kind of want it to stay centered. So we'll do 2 with peanut butter, 2 without. We'll see how it looks, and I will chat about why I'm considering this variation in a second, but let's get these in the oven. While the cookies are in the oven, I thought I would just chat about the 2 cookies that I'm making today. So I am making brownie batter cookies. That is what is in the oven. We just made them. I think they're gonna turn out really cool and really tasty. And this is what they look like. You can see the variation on the right side of the screen, I think. I don't know. In the middle of the screen with the peanut butter versus the one without the peanut butter. And the reason I am considering doing the peanut butter on all of my cookies is because I'm also doing this cookie, which is a double chocolate espresso cookie. And I think they look fabulous and delicious. But basically, I don't want people to come and look at my cookies and being like, you say they're different, but are they really different? And then in the brownie cookies, I can do brownie peanut butter cookies rather than just a brownie cookie. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Also, I went on Facebook in a couple of the vending groups that I'm on, and we talked about, actually, I asked questions on how much do I sell these cookies for, because the brown batter cookies were $3.83 to make. And I got 12 cookies, so I'd gladly sell them for $1 a cookie, but that doesn't feel quite right, you know? And so I asked, with the ingredients cost being $3.83, what should I sell them as? And I got a lot of feedback saying I should sell them at $4 a cookie. And looking into it, I think that is actually more appropriate pricing. Now, I still feel like I'm kind of ripping people off because if I sell one cookie, I made more than the batch costs. But I also have to consider there's my time and the overhead of like gas, and we only have gas, but electric if I use a stand mixer, just things like that. So I feel like $4 a cookie is a little steep, but definitely better once I think about the prices that I'm not thinking about that goes into these cookies. Also, I think I'm gonna do a deal where there is one cookie for $4 or 3 cookies for $10. That way people can feel like they're getting a great value. I feel like I'm getting a good value and I'm not ripping people off. And hopefully my inventory will sell a little bit faster. I've also considered doing 6 for $18, but I haven't completely decided yet. I'm probably going to, because if I get 12 cookies per batch, like that makes sense. And then I'm also gonna do a mix and match of the cookies. So if they wanna get 3, they can get 3 different flavors rather than all the same flavor. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you are a baker yourself and you have a cottage kitchen license or a cottage food license, please let me know. Do you sell cookies? Let me know. Let's go check on the cookies. Hopefully they turn out. Oh dang, I need to wash that. The timer's going off. It's been 12 minutes. Let's see. I'm expecting it needs more time. Oh, they're actually almost there and they're looking fantastic. I'm gonna give them 3 more minutes. All right, it's been another 3 minutes. They are looking really good. I still think they're under. I'm gonna give them another 2 minutes. All right, another check. Those are looking really good. I think I'm gonna pull them out. I think they are done. So yeah, let's pull them out. Okay, honestly, I'm super happy with that size. It's like perfect. I should measure it real quick. They are roughly 4.5 inches by 5 inches, or about 4.5 inches circle. That is perfect. That is the size that I'm going for. My containers, or not containers, my wrappers are 6 by 6, so that'll be perfect. I'm gonna try to get 6 cookies on here. Maybe I better stick with 4. I'll do 4 again, and we'll just do 3 pans of 4. Okay, I did just pull out the packaging, and this is the bag. You can kind of see it. It is about 6 inches by 6 inches, and it is a self-seal, but I did buy a heat press, so I'm gonna heat press, and I think I'm just gonna ignore the self-seal. I will leave that for customers to decide. If they want half their cookie, then they can seal the bag up again. But just looking, you can see that it is going to fit perfect, and I think honestly it's gonna be perfect. They're nice big cookies, which is exactly what I want. And yeah, they're just exactly what I want. And I personally would be happy to spend $10 for 3 of these cookies, because one of these cookies would be a good portion for 4 people. I do want to do the calorie breakdown. I figured that out for the brown butter chocolate chip, so I'm gonna do that for these, and I will put that on the label, but all of the labeling and stuff is all for another video. Okay, that's gonna wrap up the brownie cookies. I'm gonna take a lunch break. I'm gonna clean up the kitchen, start the dishwasher, and when we come back, we're gonna do the double chocolate chip espresso cookies. I'm super excited for those. So hold tight. I'll be right back now. All right, let's get on to the dark chocolate or double chocolate espresso cookies. I have already pre-portioned everything out, so all we have to do is mix it up and we should be good to go. All right, so first we are going to mix in a small bowl the flour, cocoa powder, sugar, and baking soda and baking powder, which is almost everything. That's crazy. Did I read that right? Sugar right now? Okay, no sugar yet. I was gonna say, that sounds weird. All right, let's whisk this up real quick. And then we need to make some brown butter. I did actually read this recipe, guys, so hopefully we don't have any more instances. But yeah, already looking beautiful. I'm so excited for this batch of cookies. I wanted to make this one first today, but when I saw how much butter it needed to be at room temp, I was like, there's no way I have enough butter. And then I read now that it's brown butter, and I could have done it this morning. I'm gonna brown 10 tablespoons of butter, and I will be back when it's all done. You guys have seen me do it before. If you don't know how to do brown butter, go watch my brown butter chocolate chip cookies. I go kind of into depth on how to do that. So I'll be right back. Here's the brown butter. I am going to get this in the bowl here for the wet ingredients. And don't forget to scrape everything out of there. Oh, beautiful. And I'm gonna mix in the other 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna mix it until it is all melted. All right, I'm gonna stir in the sugar and the vanilla. So far, it's looking really good. Okay, now we need to whisk in the 1 egg and the yolk. Again, I always crack into a separate bowl, and then I will fish the yolk out with my hand. Messy. All right, and yeah, I just go right in there with my fingers. It's kind of hard to show like this. Scoop it up, and then just kind of let the white fall through. I lost it. I'm gonna put this egg yolk or the egg white to the side. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it yet, but we might use it. If you make meringues or anything that uses egg whites, this is a perfect recipe because then you get your egg whites. And I am going to mix this together until it is all combined and smooth and glossy. I'm going to switch to the whisk and slowly put in the flour mixture, and then we will add in the chocolate chips, and then that's our dough basically made. Okay, switching back to the spatula, I'm gonna fold in the chocolate chips, and that is our batter basically done. And then I'm just gonna let it sit on the counter for a couple minutes, and then we will get them all portioned out into the oven. I also need to still preheat the oven. Since this is my first time, you never know how long a batter is gonna take to make, so I just like to wait on the oven rather than the oven wait on me. Okay, I just portioned all of the cookie dough into 3-ounce cookies, except for this one. This one's only 1.8, so unfortunately I won't get 12 cookies. I'll only get 11 out of these. I also only got 11 of the brownie cookies, so that's fine. If I'm getting 11, that's okay. All right, everyone, they are all done. Here they are, all 11 cookies. And then we have all of the brownie cookies right here. My husband and I also already had one of them, and they are delicious. I definitely think that they are worth selling. I am going to package these up now, and by package I mean just put them in a container because I'm not selling them. But if I was selling them, I did actually do a test, and this is what the packaging will look like. Super simple and easy, and I think it's gonna stay fresh a lot longer. So I am really looking forward to that. Also, the purple sticker is the label. I didn't print anything on it. I just wanted to see how it would look with the label on it. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. Next week, we will be doing probably Neapolitan cookies and raspberry rye cookies. Those both sound really fun to make and fresh and fruity, and I am excited. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today and baking some cookies. If you have any tips for me, please let me know in the comments. And with that, we shall see you guys next time. Bye.